Okay. Good evening again. Uh,
Good
Now
evening.
we are going to start unit 7. Unit 7, it is talking about reporting qualitative and mixed method mixed research findings. So once you finish the study, how you are going to report the qualitative and mixed method research work. So how to write mixed method research findings. That's chapter 7 or unit 7. So you are going to study, there are two subtitles: writing a scientific report and oral presentations. So how to write a scientific report and oral presentations, that's what you are going to study. Around 28 slides are there, but not necessary for all the slides. But certain practical things I will give importance. Certain things I will just run through. Certain things I am going to just run through. Certain things I will give importance to learn. End of the session, there are three things I expected from the learner. One is they need to understand the content of scientific writing. So what are all the content must be followed in scientific writing. Then they should know the format of scientific writing. If you are writing an research report, what are all the format? What format you supposed to follow? If you are writing an article, what format you supposed to follow? If you are writing in a memo, not memo. If you are writing an a research proposal, what kind of format you need to follow. So certain common things used in academic you are going to learn. Then you are going to expose how to do oral presentation, especially for how to defend your research work. These three things we are going to study from this class. Um, Slide is not moving. Okay. Especially this part, it is how to write report, how to do oral presentation, how to defend the your thesis. These things are going to be done by yourself. So a research report is before going to see the format. Before going to see the format, you need to understand what is research report, or what is thesis, or what is dissertation. It's a senior essay writing. We need to understand what is research report. So a research report is a completed study that reports on investigation or exploration of a problems. A research report must be a completed work. It's a completed study that reports on investigations or exploration of a problems, identifies the questions to be addressed, and includes the data collected, analyzed, and interpreted by the researcher. So a research report is a completed work by you, by a researcher, completed work by a researcher. What they completed is they investigated the unanswered questions, or they explored some research problems. So they identified the questions to be answered. So they have a research question. That question is already answered through the research work carried out by them. Then, and not just answering the research questions, and also how the research is generated, how the information is generated. That is called the data collections. How it is analyzed. So each data, how it is analyzed and interpreted by the researcher. It is not just reporting the fact. In addition to the fact, it also going to explain how the data is generated, how it is analyzed, how it is interpreted by the researcher. So this all together, reporting the unanswered questions, the data collection method, analysis method, and interpretation of the researchers. That is called research report. It is composed for audience. It composed for certain audience. It varies in length and format. What kind of audience you are going to do the reporting, based on that, the necessity of the report is going to be decided, whether it is a 100 page or 150 page or just a 10 page or just one page. It is going to be decided based on the nature of the audience. So it is composed, the research report is composed for audience. It varies in length and format and differ for quantitative and qualitative research. So the nature of the report is going to be decided based on the demand or based on the nature of the audience. It will vary the length and format. It also differ from qualitative to quantitative. If you are applied quantitative method, reporting is different. If you are applied qualitative, your reporting style is writing style is different. So there is no same reporting style for all the methods. So it will vary, depends upon the audience, depends upon the methodology used, it will vary. Even if it is a scientific report, it will vary according to the demand as well as the methodology. I am just showing the nature of the audience, what are all the audience, mostly the reports are going to be served. So if it is a faculty, if your audience is going to be the faculty members or advisors or the committee members for your academic research, if you are reporting to the faculty member, then your reporting is supposed to be the standards used in the past in program areas. So there is a reporting format already available for faculty related research. For example, if you are doing master thesis, if you are doing master research, then there is a format available. You can get the format from the faculty team, those who are going to supervise. So you need to it's better to use the standard format available from the program area than the standards traditionally used by each individual faculty members. Maybe it will vary. If you are doing a research under me, I will give you different format. If somebody is guiding you, they will give you different formats. So there is a common, if it is a master degree program, there is a format is there, means you need to follow that one. If there is no common format for master degree holder, then each faculty member following their own format. So better to go with if the college or university is having a same format, better to go with that one. So if you are doing a research for faculty member, if you are doing a the research supposed to be monitored or supervised by a faculty, then you need to either go with the program based report which is available, if it is available, or if you need to follow what faculty is saying, what kind of standard he is going to propose, you need to follow that one, or a common format available for college or university, you need to follow that one. If you are doing a journal reviewer, you are writing a journal article, so it is going to be evaluated by a group of journal reviewer. So each journal, they are having a reviewers, they are the one going to finalize whether your work is in a standardized way or not. So you are going to write a journal article which needs to come across the journal reviewer. So use the published standard printed typically once for each volumes. So you need to follow the prescribed format given by the journal, because that is the one they expected. You need to, they have a separate standard, may be published for quantitative and qualitative if it is there. If they have a separate format for qualitative and quantitative, you need to check with that. You need to go in line with your method of research. Then the editor must reconcile differing opinions among the reviewer. If any case, if you have any problem comes, the reviewer will decide finally. If your report is going to serve the purpose of policy making, then you need to consider the demands of the policy makers. For example, your result is supposed to be easily understandable, because third person is going to read your report, so it's supposed to be understood by the third person, because you don't know who is going to read your report. So if it is meant for policy makers, it needs to be easy to understand the result. Then immediate application of your result supposed to be a short-term result supposed to be given importance. Then clarity and brevity of ideas. You need to be you yourself, clarity and brevity of you need to stand with your ideas. If you are going to write a report for practicing educator in the field, then the relevance of the problems or issue being studied, that need to be highlighted. Easy to identify the result. Practical suggestion from your research study is also must needed. If you are writing a conference paper, reviewer, whether the researcher has submitted the proper material or not, whether the proposal fits to the conference theme or priority for the conference, that is your standard, whether the project summary is clearly written, organized, addressed to the guidelines of the for the summary. So if you are writing a conference paper review, you need to follow this one. In general, you are writing to other researchers. You are writing to other researchers. The standards of the standard of the outlet for the study, maybe faculty, journal, or practitioner and conference. You need to follow that one. Standard related to 5 elements and 7 phases in the process of your researches. Maybe you are doing in a qualitative, whether you are going with the narrative study or case study, you need to follow that standards. So standard related to quantitative and qualitative method. As a researcher, you need to follow these things supposed to be in your mind. My point here, I am emphasizing the audience of your research. So what kind of audience you are giving importance? So that is very much important. What kind of report you are writing? Who is going to be your audience? That will be a major point for writing style of your research, writing style of your scientific research. Now, sometimes the slide is making difficult. Okay. So there is a practical questions. You can take it this as an assignment. So look at the notes in the above table. So there is a notes is available to explain this the table which we studied. So you need to look at the notes in the above table. The researcher consider the interest of each members of the school committee so that he or she can include some practical implication for each. Maybe you think you are studying in Bulihora University, so you are going to look at you are reporting to the faculty member. Maybe you can think I am going to make a report to Dr. Marirajan. So if that is the case, what kind of cautious steps I need to take, the implication for your work. So as per her and him graduate advisor, he or she recognize that he has a high standard, has supervised many of those before, and probably has a format in mind for her final thesis, his and her final thesis. If you are coming as my, if I am going to be a supervisor, how you are going to approach me, how you are going to request me, which format you wanted to try. So you need to think some faculty member to report. So you need to think, you need to approach them how to go about your thesis. So he or she also create a to-do list to remind herself to get the information she needs to before proceeding to the different phases of the research. If you were above the researcher and need to write a report as a requirement for your graduate degree, how would you write it? How would you write a report for your school committee or graduation committee? List 2 or 3 writing strategy you wanted to use it. For example, you are submitting a research proposal to me. If you are submitting a research proposal to me, what kind of format you are going to follow? You need to discuss with me. You need to get a format which I am having. You get a format from me if you want to submit a research proposal. Then based on the format given by me, you can prepare a research proposal. So how you are going to approach me? What kind of questions you are going to ask? How did you get the format? Or you are getting any suggestions? So you need to write this as an assignment. As part of your assignment, you need to meet your person you wanted to do your research reporting. That's all. It's a practical question. So now we were going the different type of research reports. I wanted to give this explanation based on your requirement. So as a student, you are preparing your dissertations. You are preparing your master thesis. If you are a PhD student, you are preparing your PhD dissertations. So the dissertations often condense it into a journal article. So once you finish your dissertations, the dissertation work is going to be converted as a journal article. So you are writing a report as a dissertation. That dissertation report later converted as a journal article. So alternatively, it may be presented at a national or regional or state conference or individuals in their school settings. So there are different way you can do report. So as a student, you are preparing a dissertation, that is your primary responsibility. Once you completed your primary responsibility as preparation of dissertations, then that dissertation is going to be converted as a journal article. As part of your academic purpose, you are going to make your dissertation fit into journal article. That is the second step. Alternatively, if you are not going with the journal article, maybe you can go as a conference paper. So if it is a conference paper, you need to think how I am going to make a conference paper. So either it is going to be a national or regional or a state conference, or individuals in their school setting, how you are going to make conference articles. If this is the case, you need to refer the previous table also. So we are going to see one by one what is dissertation, what is thesis, what is conference article, what is policy paper. We are going to see one by one. So dissertation and thesis, this is the two synonyms frequently used by academicians. So dissertation and thesis are the doctoral and master research report prepared for faculty and graduate committees. Though you are preparing, but it is meant for graduate committee or faculty members. So dissertation and thesis are, dissertation means it's a doctoral work, thesis means it's a master research. So you are preparing either doctoral research or master research for faculty and graduate committee. So the length of the dissertations can be vary, depends upon the doctoral work or master thesis. If it is in a doctoral work, it can go from 100 pages to 400 pages, especially in social science. If it is a master thesis, it should go from 50 to 100 pages. The length is going to be decided based on the nature of the research. Then in general, if it is a qualitative study, the qualitative studies are much longer than the quantitative study, because you are oftenly using quotes and present multiple perspective on themes. In qualitative research, you are writing lot of running text, you are using different quotes, you are converging different themes. That's why if it is in a qualitative research, the lot of the reporting work is longer than the quantitative one. So the process of preparing dissertation or thesis involving the planning the study. It include writing a proposal. It's the planning supposed to begin from writing a proposal and presenting it to advisor and faculty member. If it is an academic work, the work should start from preparing proposals. After receiving approval to conduct the study, students complete the study, defend it before the faculty member. So these are all the process as a student you are doing. So we will see how to make proposals, how to prepare report, how to make journal article, how to make conference article one by one. These are all the process you are going to do, you are going to involve in your future work. So this dissertation or thesis proposal is a plan we discussed last class, especially in unit 4 we discussed. A dissertation or thesis proposal is a plan for research report initiated and developed before actual study begins. Before begin your actual study, you are going to make your dissertation or thesis proposal. So that is why it is called as plan of your research report. So essentially, the proposal and reports are two different things. But you are the one, you will write proposal before conducting the research. But the proposal, the researcher writes about what will takes place. But final study, what is happened already. So proposal means what you are going to do it, but report means what you already done. So that's it. You need to clarify yourself. If it is a proposal, you are going to make what you are going to do in future, or what you are going to do for your research. That is called the proposals. If it is in a research report, what you did. So you are going to use future tense in your proposals. You are going to use past tense in your research report. What will happen? That is proposal. What has happened? What has taken place? That is your research report. So the proposal will likely to be written using future tense to describe your actions. In final study, the past verb. Example, you are using was, there you are using will, describe what has already occurred. So another distinction between proposal and final study, the report of the result and future research. So in your proposal, you have not compiled the results, nor you have identified future needs. You are just proposing the idea in your proposals. You are not making any final result. You are not making any future research. But you have not compiled the results, nor you have identified future research needs or procedure. But a completed study, you are incorporating your results and future research directions because you already collected data and analyzed the data. That's the difference. Purpose of your research proposal, it will facilitate the process of obtaining permissions to study a site or educational settings. The major purpose of your research proposal is to get a permission from your faculty member or study site or education setting. You are making proposals. It will provide information to the gatekeepers and those who are in authority so that they can determine the likely impact of the study in their site. If you wanted to get permission for your study from higher authorities, maybe you are going to study a Kabale, that Kabale authority need your plan. So for that purpose, you are making a proposal. That proposal is going to be served as it can be submitted to the gatekeeper, or if you are seeking a permission from a research site, that proposal is very much needed because it's a plan. This plan need to be given to the person who will give the permissions. You need to submit the plan. So it provides criteria to assess the quality of your project also. It will guide, it will assess it is going to be the tell the quality of your work. So there is a common format for making thesis proposals or dissertation proposals. This also we studied very well in our unit 4, but just I am recollecting here. If it is a qualitative research proposals, it should have a title page, then abstract, then introductions, then statement of the problem. Within the introductions, you need to keep statement of the problem, purpose of your research, purpose and research questions, then delimitations and limitations. You need to keep it in your introduction part. The procedure part, you need to mention qualitative methodology and the design, then research site and purposeful samplings, researcher role and potential ethical issues, method of validations. Then your preliminary findings, anticipated outcome of the study, tentative literature review. If you want to keep it, you can keep it, otherwise not necessary. So time limit, budget, preliminary chapters, outline, reference, appendix. These are all the things a common format proposed for a qualitative research proposal for academic purpose. If you are submitting the same to the funding purpose, this will vary. I am giving an example. I am giving an example of my PhD proposal. This is my PhD proposal. It starts with my detail, then my title, introduction. Yes, Megasa.
Yes, okay. I have a question on the qualitative format. So how can we write the limitation of the study before we conduct the study?
You before starting a research, maybe you can say you perceive something from the field.
Okay.
Maybe sometimes you may not get the permission to do the study. That also possible. You are proposing an idea. That idea is not going to be welcomed by the community. Sometimes that you can propose.
Yeah.
So I am giving an example for qualitative dissertation thesis proposal. This is my proposal, the one I submitted for my PhD in 2011. It will carry my details, then title, then it talking about introductions, all the components which we discussed in the previous slide. It is used here. Then based on the proposals, this is my final research report, PhD thesis report. That is the proposal. This is the report which I following that one I made the report for my final thesis. This is thesis report, the cover page of the thesis report. So this is the way academic research supposed to be done. These are all things must be covered in your report. So if it is in a journal article, because now you assume you prepare the proposal, you made the research report also. So two tasks you already completed. Magasa, you maybe you can assume you already prepared the proposal, you already done your research. Now you are going to make your research report into a journal article. Now we are going to the third step. So a journal
Okay.
article is a polished, shorter research report that you send to an editor of a journal. You are not going to send 100 pages of your master thesis. You are going to make your journal article, 100 pages of your journal article, report into 5 to 7 pages of journal articles. So 100 page is going to be reduced into 5 page or 5 to 7 pages of journal article for the purpose of getting approval from your journal editor. So a journal article is much shorter than a thesis or dissertations because of page limitations imposed by the publisher and editor. So it is mandatory for you to reduce the page number of pages from 100 page to 5 to 7 pages according to the preference of journal author. You are going to reduce your dissertations. Still, the qualitative journal articles are much longer than the quantitative article because you are going to use extensive quote and largely discussions of the description and themes. So still there is a big difference between qualitative journal article and quantitative journal articles. So the format for quantitative and qualitative journal articles are varies from one journal to another journal. So there is a big difference between journal to journal and also methodology. It will vary. If it is now we were going to the fourth part, uh, the same research report is going to be submitted to a conference paper or conference proposals. For conference means you are not going to submit straight away the paper. You need to submit the proposal first. Then, if they approve the proposal, then you will submit the paper. So, if a conference paper is a research report presented to an audience at a state or regional or national or international conference, typically sponsored by professional associations. For example, International Social Worker Association (IFSW), if they convene a conference, means they will ask the practitioner to submit their papers. So if that is the case, you need to developing and presenting a conference paper from a research study helps to publicize the study, provide a research entry for a resume, helps to advance the work of the author within the educational research community, and build knowledge among the researcher exploring the topic first. So you are going to make a conference paper out of your research work that is going to be published by a professional body who is organizing the conference. Then you need to submit your conference paper abstract. Once the paper abstract is accepted, then you need to submit your full paper. So your proposal means it's an abstract. You are first, if it is in a conference, you are submitting abstract. Once the abstract is approved, then you are submitting your full paper. So your conference proposal is a pre-proposal to present a study at a conference. It typically, these proposals run about 3 pages long and reviewer use them to determine whether they will accept the author's research for presentations at the conference. A conference proposal needs to be confirmed to the guidelines provided by the conference associations. Once they accepted your conference proposals, then only they will ask you to the full paper. So